Well, hello everybody. It's a little bit past 4 and I wanted to get the meeting started. Thank you for joining us today. This meeting is going to be live streamed, so members of the public can observe and you can submit comments. Recording of this presentation will also be available on the project page after this meeting. So you can submit your comments until September 2nd and we'll be sure to include it in the project. So we have some housekeeping things that we need to go through before we start the meeting. As I said, you will have an opportunity to submit the questions and comments via different methods. The first thing you can do if you're joining us right now is you can type in the chat box on the meeting page. It's visible to all and it'll be shared with the project team. You can also send an email to the Gananda Parkway study at public.com. So it's spelled just like that, Gananda Parkway study at publicinput.com. You can also send a text message to 855-925-2801 and include the word Gananda in it. You can put it all in capitals. Another way that you can leave a message is you could call 855-925-2801 and punch in the meeting code 7974. Follow the prompts. It'll ask you to press number 2 and you can leave a recorded message that'll be played during the meeting for everybody to hear. If you want to join and speak during the meeting, at the end we'll have a question and answer period. You can call the same number, 855-925-2801. Again, the meeting code is 7974 and follow the prompts, which will ask you to press 3 to join in a speaker queue, and then you can speak in real time. So we will have staff monitoring during the meeting, and you can share your comments. We'll read them aloud, and people listening on the phone can also hear them. So before we get started with the presentation, Thomas Lyon from Wayne County would like to say a few words. Thomas?
Yes, hello. I'm Thomas Lyon, planner with Wayne County Economic Development Planning. I just wanted to say that we've assembled a task force made up of local elected and appointed officials, county staff, the Gananda School District, local business owners, institutions, and residents in the community. Really want to thank you all for either logging on, dialing in, what have you. Your input is invaluable to helping us make this a walking, bicycle safe community in Gananda. I'm going to pass back to Christine from TY Lynn International to start our presentation.
Great. Thanks, Thomas. So I would also like to welcome you officially. My name is, as Thomas mentioned, is Christine Bianchi, and I'm a traffic engineer for TY Lynn International. Our firm was selected by the Genesee Transportation Council together with Wayne County to provide a pedestrian and bicycle active transportation plan for Gananda. So for today's meeting, we'd like to discuss the purpose, key elements, and touch on previous plans and current zoning. We'd also like to discuss the existing transportation network needs and discuss the next steps for the study with you.
Hi, Dennis Cannelli here, also at TY Lynn. I work with Christine. I just wanted to say a few words as she goes into the details of some of the work that's already been done by our team, along with the steering committee. We think we've gotten a lot of good work put together and have presented it back to the county and the rest of the steering committee team. But now, I mean, this is your community, so we really encourage you, just to reiterate, to please get involved. And as Christine goes through her presentation, hopefully some of those things she's going to say and review will trigger some thoughts, whether you say them today, you write them in, you chat, you call, please chime in. The more comments we get, the better the project is going to be. But our whole job is to make it a better, safer community to travel through. And we know there's issues and changes that need to be made. So please join in. We encourage you to do so. And again, thank you for participating. So Christine.
Great, thanks, Dennis. So I wanted to get into the purpose of the study. You also hear me refer to this as the ATP, which is short for Active Transportation Plan, which is kind of a mouthful, so we say ATP to shorten it up a little bit. The purpose of this is to identify strategies to enhance the quality of life and the economic development, while also improving public health via safe ways to travel on foot, bicycle, and by pedestrian car. The project area actually extends from Penfield Road, which is Route 441 to the west, to Wedrick Road and to the Gananda Central School District to the east. We're focusing primarily on the Gananda Parkway area due to traffic and the lack of pedestrian facilities and bicycle facilities and that sort of thing. But the plan also does encompass feeder streets along the routes to the residential streets. So within the study, we'll be working on, we'll build on the current zoning that's in the area and also on the Walworth, the Town of Walworth Comprehensive Plan and the Town of Macedon Comprehensive Plan. And the plan includes an inventory and assessment of the roadway, traffic, and pedestrian and bicycle facilities. So that's kind of a mouthful, but that's what the plan entails. So there are a few elements key elements that I just want to go over that highlights different parts of the plan. The first one encompasses a review and assessment of infrastructure elements that actually negatively impact the safety and constrain mobility and connectivity for bicycling and walking. So this review includes an evaluation of emerging technologies such as electrical bikes, which you've seen around, I'm sure, and also scooters. Also, additional traffic resulting from the increased deliveries to homes, especially during COVID. We've seen a lot of this. We like to call this the Amazon effect. The second key element of the project includes investigating programmatic initiatives to improve safety for all modes of transportation. This can be done in coordination with law enforcement agencies and the Gananda School District with programs such as Safe Routes to School. The final key element of the project is to identify opportunities for coordinated and cohesive land use, street design, mobility, regulatory policies, and strategies to improve current and future community needs. So I touched upon this a little bit earlier, but some of the plans and zoning that are in place that we're looking to build on are the Gananda Central School District plan update that was done in 2019. Also, the town of Walworth and the town of Macedon both have comprehensive plans in place that were updated, one a little bit more recently than the other, but we're looking to see what can be done. Aspects of the transportation network that were investigated for the study includes roadways, truck traffic, transit, and safety. So the main roads within the study area include Gananda Parkway, which runs primarily east-west, and Canandaigua Road, which runs north-south through the plan area. So you can see on the map behind here, this map actually shows the main roads and some of the other roads to Gananda Parkway is the one that runs east-west throughout the whole distance, and then Canandaigua is the north-south road. Let's see, Gananda Parkway is owned and operated by Wayne County, and the Canandaigua Road is owned and operated by the towns of Walworth and then also Macedon. There's about 14 to 16% heavy traffic on Gananda Parkway, so this can pose an issue for people walking and biking along the road. The project is not serviced by a route operated by Regional Transit Services, RTS Wayne. However, RTS Wayne offers reduced fares for senior citizens and route deviation services that encompass a 3/4 of a mile off route in accordance with the American Disabilities Act. But I know right now that there's been some changes to it due to COVID, but I just wanted to mention that they do offer those services. So as you can see on the map behind here, there's like little dots, and those are actually crashes that we have seen during our observation period within the project area. We looked at a 5-year period between 2014 and 2019 to identify the crash patterns and high accident locations. So this heat map shows you the clusters and areas. During this time, there was 226 crashes that occurred, and unfortunately, 6 involved injury to a pedestrian or bicyclist. So for the needs analysis, we looked at different things. We looked at speeds and pedestrians and bicyclists. The posted speed limit along Gananda Parkway is 55 miles per hour. However, most of the vehicles, as you know, travel a lot faster, and most of them actually are traveling closer to 60 miles an hour. So these high speeds compounded with the heavy vehicles and buses make the parkway a challenge for pedestrians and bicyclists to use the shoulder for travel. Other than the worn paths in the grassy area along the north side of the Gananda Parkway, between residential neighborhoods and the golf course, there aren't any pedestrian sidewalks, facilities, crosswalks, or any place for the pedestrians to safely walk along the road other than the shoulder. So our next steps for the project is this community input. Based on the information that we're gathering from the study and from this public meeting, we're going to put together draft alternatives, and then we'll share them with you. The goal is to consider improvements that balance transportation needs with enhancements to pedestrians and bicycle facilities. The design concepts and regulatory changes pertaining to the draft alternatives will be presented to the steering committee for review and comment, and then presented to the public for a second meeting that will occur this fall. And the recommendations that we pulled together will be put together in a final report that will be used as a framework for the future development and to solicit findings for the improvements, or to solicit fundings for the improvements. So that was kind of thrown at you pretty quickly. Hopefully, I was trying to keep it nice and short and sweet, but there's quite a bit in there, and I'm sure you have many comments and questions, and we do encourage you to submit them to us. We want to know what you think. What do you think about this study? What issues do you see with pedestrian access? I know there's quite a few. Where do you ride your bike? Do you stay on the road? Do you take the paths? Are there other areas that we don't know about? Are there little trails that you're using? Where do you still feel safe with your family riding your bike? Have you had any near miss collisions? The thing with accident reports is that we can see where accidents have occurred, but what we don't get with that are the near misses. We don't know where, the left turn accidents could have happened, or where the rear end accidents could have happened. So those are the things that we are really looking to gain from you guys, because you drive this road and you're in the community and you know what's going on. Also, are there any roads or intersections that you avoid during specific times of day? Like I said, you know the area, so anything that you want to share with us is appreciated. So in the interest of time, I can turn it over to Bob Williams, our moderator for the GTC. He's been collecting comments as we've been going through the meeting. And if we don't get to your question before time's up, we'll be sure to address it in the updated document.
Thanks,
Bob?
Christine. So you're right. So the first question came in before this slide, and
Okay.
it's from Debbie Napolitano, and she asks, how are Walworth and Macedon working together on this, given the shared location?
So both towns are on our committee. So that's how we're working together in our committee group. Both leaders from both towns.
Thomas, anything else to add to that?
So it's definitely true that it's kind of a joint effort. Both towns have been involved right from the conception phase, really driving this concept forward. They all recognize the shared need for this sort of investigation. Obviously, I'm representing the county as a whole, so the county recognizes that this community is a valuable area that we need to really focus on. I do recognize that one of the supervisors is actually currently on monitoring this. So, once again, the towns are definitely involved at all levels of this.
Thanks, Thomas.
Debbie had another question, who is on the steering committee, and I can answer that. It includes, as they said, both town supervisors, Wayne County Planning itself, a representative from our organization, the Genesee Transportation Council. We have the superintendent of the Gananda Central School District. We have the owner of Blue Heron Hills Golf Club, and what is Kevin Thomas, the superintendent of the Wayne County Highway Department or Public Works?
Both, I believe he's Highway Department, but all Public Works as well. But yes, he is the superintendent for the county.
And there are also community members, Gananda community members at large on the steering committee. And so to your question, Christine, piece of feedback we got is that it's very dangerous to walk or ride a bike on Gananda Parkway. Many end up going through the golf course.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. I would agree with that. We've seen that and heard that comment several times. Thank you.
Here's some comments from Suzanne Carter. She says, by car, I avoid Waterford Road by schools before 9 a.m. and from 3 to 5 due to the amount of kids that cross the roads and may not be paying attention. As for near misses, always by the station, and ride bikes in the road as the existing sidewalks are narrow and there are many walkers. She doesn't feel comfortable walking or riding on the parkway due to distracted drivers.
Thank you. And that was from Susan?
Suzanne.
Oh, Suzanne. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can definitely see. I would feel the same way. I with the speeds and the traffic out there, I wouldn't feel safe either walking. But we're looking into different options to see how we can slow traffic down and so that we can provide a separation for pedestrians, especially in the areas where people are heading to, like places like the pizza place, the school. I know the golf course is there too, and there's a pathway that people use that's not necessarily public space, but people use it to, because they feel safer.
So we do have one individual on the phone line. Can you quick go over the instructions for them again in case they'd like
Sure.
to speak
Sure.
to the meeting?
I'm just going to flip back on the slides too so that everybody else can see it too. So so to call in, so they're on the phone.
Yes.
So to call in, they'd have to press, well, they'd have to call a different, or they'd have to press the 7974 prompt and press *2 to leave a message. The phone number for that is 855-925-2801, meeting code 7974, and press prompt 2 to leave a message. Press prompt 3 to join the queue. And also, if they wanted to text something in, they could text the word Gananda, Gananda, to 855-925-2801. Or they could send an email to Gananda Parkway study@publicinput.com. Does that help? Bob, was that what you were looking for?
Yep. And they've requested to speak, so I'm going to try to put them through.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to let you folks know that I was on the call. My name is Tom Mayberry, the owner of the golf club at Blue Heron Hills. And if you have any questions for me, I'm available. That's all.
Oh, great. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. All right.
I did also want to mention Supervisor Leonard from the town of Macedon is also viewing the presentation. So if there are specific questions about Macedon, we can try to make sure she's aware.
And also the supervisor from Walworth is on the line too, if there are any questions that you'd like to direct towards her.
Debbie has another question. She asks, in the original planning of the Gananda development, was a sidewalk considered?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so, but maybe Susie, could you speak to that?
I believe in some of the areas there was sidewalks that were in the original plan of the PUD development. But I do not believe that they were part of definitely the Gananda Parkway.
No.
No. So, but I can confirm that and we can get back to her.
Thank you. Bob, are there any other comments that are coming through?
No, that is all we have for now.
Okay. Thomas, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Nothing specific other than this particular slide that you have up right now and you just recently went through. Certainly individuals that are viewing this at later dates can respond in until September 2nd. So certainly invite members of the public to comment, and the team will look at that. I did want to thank the task force members, both Supervisor Jacobs and Supervisor Leonard, as well as Mr. Mayberry, for being on the line, being available to answer any questions that might arise. Certainly want to thank T.Y. Lin for all of the hard work you've done to collect all of this data and present it to us, and to the HTC for the funding and expertise to make this possible. The most important thing, again, is that input from the public. Certainly invite comments from the public, just so that we can really make this project your own, and make sure that any stress points or maybe even some opportunities, some areas where we can grow, those things can be addressed with the future Gananda Parkway and greater community. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Thomas. I wanted to just scroll through here just to the end where I have a map that I just wanted to put up in case anybody had any questions too, that shows the project area. So I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but Gananda Parkway is pretty long and there's residential developments on the north and south. So, in addition to looking at pedestrian facilities along the parkway or along areas of the parkway, there's also potential for crossings at certain points. And with the road, with there being a lot of curves in the road, it could be a challenge for anybody crossing the road with the high speeds and with the trucks and that sort of thing. So we're also looking at opportunities to look at mid-block crossings or, safer crossings for people to cross in ways to alert the people on the road to know where people are crossing. So I thought that was important that to share with everyone. And then over in the area of the school, we did notice that there's a worn path too along the side of the school from the neighborhoods. So there's some segmented sidewalking. There's sidewalks, but then it kind of stops, and then we can see where the kids are actually walking along the edge of the school property in the grass to get into the district. So I wanted to share that with everybody too.
Okay, we have a number of new comments coming through now. Suzanne Carter
Okay.
asks, if sidewalks are ultimately considered for Gananda Parkway, whose responsibility will it be for snow removal and safety to ensure clear passage for school walkers? On current sidewalks during the winter, they become very icy and walkers tend to walk in the road.
That's a great question. Thomas, what is the county's policy on that?
I believe that currently, we will follow the streets and try to get those cleared. But one of the supervisors, I believe, can comment on that. But I think that currently in some of the communities, they have sort of a snow removal district. I'm looking for confirmation on that. I believe that it's not currently handled by the county. I'm getting a confirmation that yes, currently.
Thomas, on the sidewalk, as far as I'm aware, for Walworth, there is a sidewalk district in the area, and they do take care of the sidewalks that are in what is known the Waterford Road area. However, sidewalks in some of the other areas, like there are some in front of Rookery Way in that development, they take care of their own sidewalks. And then most of the other communities do not have sidewalks. So that is an area that that's an area that will still need to be addressed. And I do know that the projected new project of Learwood is planning on sidewalks on one side of the road, and they will not be taking care of ice removal or snow removal on that.
Right.
Okay.
So that's really a detail that will come about, after recommendations are made and decisions are made on where improvements will be implemented. That will come out of that. Yeah. So sidewalks as well as the sidewalk is establishing a sidewalk district is something that's more like like a like a zoning change.
Christine, Debbie's also asking about the full project timeline. If you could touch on that. I think some of it is on the next step slide. And she also asks, who will incur any costs proposed?
So let's see. So the next steps. So what we've already done is we put together a needs assessment memo, and this came out of that, and out of this and the needs memo, we'll be looking at recommendations and alternatives, and then we'll be taking that back to the committee to discuss, what the committee thinks would be good to push forward with. Kind of isolate the better, and overlay them or grade them based on what we can implement quicker, what costs more to implement, what costs less to implement, that sort of thing. And from there we'll take that to the public in the fall to present. We'll gain more input from you guys to see what you guys like, what you need, and then from there the preferred alternatives will be selected, and then we'll put together a report. So that will come together later this year. And then from there, there's all different types of funding opportunities that, this will be ready to go when a funding opportunity comes up, then this report is ready on the shelf to be presented for the opportunity. And as far as who pays for what portion of it, that's really between the county and the towns to decide what portions, depending on the alternative and who it will impact the most. That's something for their boards to decide what percentage each town or county pays for. I hope that answers the question in a roundabout way. There's a lot there, but
Yeah, I think the key point that you brought up was what is feasibly able to be done. What
right.
can be agreed upon between the supervisors and the county, or the towns and the county, to not just implement but also to maintain for the long term.
Yes.
See, Director Jacobs, correct?
I have a question.
Okay.
If I can, Christine or Thomas, I know that we have discussed this in committees many times. And the issue that keeps being raised to me from my constituents or people in the area is the lighting, the lighting or the lack of lighting on the Gananda Parkway in many areas. And I just didn't know if you had addressed any of that discussion here today or.
Well, that would be great to have input from people too on where they think lighting would help. I mean, obviously, it's could be a lot better, especially at intersections and places where people are walking. Um, so no, I didn't have a slide on it, but that is definitely a consideration of the project as well as lighting. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
There any other questions, Bob?
There's something of a side discussion going on between Supervisor Kim Leonard and Debbie and Scott Allen, but I think that is. I think the answers are all adequate there.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got through this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I just don't want, I just want to make sure that we get everybody, if there are people who are just joining us who have questions or who, this is recorded, so people can go back and watch it again and submit questions until September 2nd. But I just wanted to make sure that we exhausted all of the questions and got to everybody who is online right now. So I guess we can just wrap it up then. Thanks, Thomas, for adding your thoughts. We appreciate it.
Certainly.
And for helping us with this. Thank you to everybody who's been involved, to the committee members and the supervisors and everybody. You guys have been wonderful in answering questions. And thank you to all the public who is on today. We appreciate you guys participating, and we look to your feedback, and we look forward to presenting the alternatives to you this fall. Remember, there's all different ways that you can get your questions to us, and you have till September 2nd. We unfortunately have to put an end date on getting comments for this part so that we can keep moving forward. But we look forward to hearing from you and to seeing you in the fall again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.